And so I wanted to say, before the video cut off, even though there was literally still time on the phone to speak, but it as if wanted to cut off my thought. And so then I was like, whatever, I guess we're just wrestling today and you're not going to let me finish my thought, so I'll just upload and say some more later because that's the wrestling. So what happened was I uploaded my video. I don't know if I watch it. It doesn't matter. The point is, I think like the stated. I think I know what happened. I wrote the title, and I was like, right, why would God? Don't interrupt me with your noises. Okay, why would God? I was listening to these NDE experiences, and a few of them mentioned how, like, they saw people being violated by demons and like, you know. And I'm like, and they mentioned that one of them was like a male human soul that died who was experiencing that kind of like eternal, like repetitive, like violation as punishment for what they did during their life. And then another NDE mentioned a female human soul experiencing being violated by demons. And I was like, and this, I was hearing this, and especially when I heard about like the female human soul being violated by multiple demons, I was like, God can't sign off on that. Like, bleh. Like you guys don't seem to know what like God means or something. Like, it must just be your subconscious giving you, not your subconscious, but like your mind is made up of all the stuff, including all the subconscious stuff, because the subconscious doesn't mean the brain. It just means like the subconscious, the unconscious, the not conscious content of your mental awareness. Okay, one time I was listening to this video. I want to say that it was Robert Williams or Rob Williams, who's a kinesiologist. I feel like that's maybe where I heard it from, but at some point in all of my searching for understanding of how everything works, I came across this idea that people think of the brain and the mind as the same thing. And this person was like, the brain is like the hardware or like the physical object through which the mind like flows. And so like your mind is not your brain. Your brain is like the hardware through which your mind functions uh, when it comes to your existence as a human organism, which is biological form, having a non like non physically bound mental, intellectual, conscious being, which is your mind, you know? And so, just to clarify that, because I'm like, right, sometimes when I talk about stuff, someone might hear what I'm saying and they might not like have ever heard of that idea. And it's like, right, the brain is separate from the mind and like what this person was saying. And ever since that time, I just like, that's the model of human reality that I rely on when I think about human being. And so I feel like these people, when they go to hell in their near death experiences and they see certain things, I don't think they're seeing reality. I think they're seeing what their mind has as its content, because part of the mind is your volition and your intelligence. Like, your mind is like the idea of like the container that has the nature of being a mental consciousness that can wake up in different circumstances of form, and sometimes it's human being physical form. But your mind is like a neutral kind of like consciousness that just like wakes up, and then it's like, what's the hardware that I'm in, if there is a hardware, you feel me? and then there's this aspect to the mind of like like your intelligence ability and your ability to manage the content of your mind, of your, like, if your mind is like a container of conscious content, or like thought, or like consciousness, or like awareness, there's a second part to your mind called, there, like, you are like this container that has all this stuff that can come into it. But then, like, there's this other part called, and then you have agency, where it's like, or responsibility, I guess you could say. You have this, there's this other part called your like, whether or not you're going to be a fool or smart in relation to the content that enters the container of your mind, your conscious, like, container awareness, like space of like your, like, the space of your, like, your lot of, like, not a lot, it's like your space in which, like, this is yours, and like whatever is in here is under your jurisdiction, and you are like put into this predicament where you're told, like, the great reality that is out there has all this shit in it, and whatever the fuck is gonna come into your motherfucking mind is gonna come into your motherfucking mind. But then they place the responsibility on you to take care of whatever the fuck comes in there, because it's gonna have an effect on you. The content that comes in from outside is gonna have an effect on you. It can fuck you up, it can make you better, and you're put into this predicament of like not being given any information